So let's say you want something a little bit bigger yet, or maybe you just want a double axle. Well, that's where the Jay Flight SLX 8 comes in. So the last two we looked at were both SLX 7. Now we're into the SLX 8. And to be quite honest, the biggest difference is going to be going from single axle to double axle. We will have some different things that change a little bit as we go through, but again, a lot of it's just going to be size of RV. So this one right here, I love this layout. This is the 2021 Jay Flight SLX 8 212QB. And the reason I love this one is even though it's a QB, which is for a queen bed, a lot of manufacturers, this is not a unique floor plan, right? Jayco makes it and they make a great one. There's a lot of manufacturers that make this floor plan. Most of them designate it as a rear living, and for good reason. My favorite part is right back here, and we'll get there in just a second, but it's a great space to really just entertain and have conversation. Now, if we take a look at the kitchen, this is something we talked about a little bit earlier, right? You're looking at kitchen space, and you will see that in this one, you don't have a ton of prep space right here for built-in countertop, but you did go with the double bowl sink as well as the 3-burner cooktop. Now, a couple things here. One is you do get upgraded countertops themselves, and that will allow for an undermount bowl, as we can see. So, you know, the great thing about an undermount is it's easier to keep clean, right? Your countertop, you can just clean it off, sweep everything right in there, and you don't have a lip where the sink is if it's a top mount sink. And this style of countertop will allow you to do that undermount. You'll also see the high-rise pull-out faucet, right? Making wash and rinsing dishes much simpler. And with the cooktop, this is going to be, right, your primary prep space. Or if you get sink top covers will work there too, but you're gonna have to use one of these kind of as your primary prep. Now, when you fold that back, just like we had it, kind of opens up the residential style burner. Front one's being high output, or the front one rather. That is important if you plan on like boiling water in higher elevation, right? You want to make sure you're going to use that front one. It'll be much simpler. This is a Furion unit, and the knobs here do light up. As you can see, you can turn that off if you so choose. But if you want it on, it's nice and simple to flip on, and there's an oven underneath for baking. You will also see additional storage for some pots and pans right there, and there's enough room for a trash can, which I love. Plus not one, but two full extension ball bearing drawers. So you have plenty of space for not just your flatware, but everything else, you know, some of your larger utensils, knives, you know, if you need any like pot holders, things like that, there's a great spot for them. You also notice the storage here up top, microwave, and a hood, and of course, the electrical outlet located there again for coffee maker, whatever else, as well as the tank monitoring panel. And just like in the last units, that water heater does run off both propane and electric. Now, as we make our way to the very back, this is really what makes this floor plan shine. Now, note that there aren't any slides in here, okay? And it still is a fairly open feeling floor plan. It's a little bit tighter back here, but I love kind of the, I don't know, just the closeness, I guess, that you have when you're hanging out with family and friends. You know, it's just a little more intimate, I guess is the word I want to use. You know, you can have 4 people here, another 2 people here. I mean, 6 people just hanging out, having a good time. Everyone's involved in the conversation. Even if you're playing a game, right? Let's say you have a board game. These 2 people can still be involved in that board game. You can still reach the table, which I really like. That's really hard to do in most floor plans, but they've been able to accomplish it here. And again, you know, because it's slideless, it's going to be a little bit lighter. Even though this is a double axle, your dry weight's 4,125 pounds, so still very manageable. And your length is about 25.5 foot is what you're looking at. Price on this one, you know, price is going to go up. Again, we're getting into a much larger RV. We're looking at this one starting at $25,995, which is $6.42 a day, and that is still a great value. If you're looking for something, and the other cool thing about this one, I guess I should say, right, is because it doesn't matter if it's for a couple or if it's for a family, this one can make it work, right? You can sleep 4 in here. This drops down into a bed, this folds out into a bed, so you have those accommodations. So if that's kind of what you're looking for, is versatility, great entertainment space, then this is definitely one that you should check out. And again, you want to make sure you take advantage of the great pricing for the show. Right up top, again, you have more storage there. Your Multimedia Center is located here. This one has an HDMI input. So let's say you want a Blu-ray player. Great. You can pop it right up there and you're good to go. Now it does have a DVD player built in. So if you just want to watch standard DVDs, you're good to go. No issues there. The TV will be right up here in the corner and you will see you have a great view from the sofa, which is pretty cool. More storage across here as well. Windows all the way around. We talked about the importance of windows. You have window here, big window in the back, huge window over to the side by the dinette. And this is one of my favorites, right? Because as I'm sitting right here, especially on this inside one, I have a great view here out to my campsite. So, you know, as my wife and I are sitting here sipping on our morning coffee, I have a great view, you know, watching the kids play at the campsite. We're gonna ride around on the bikes right there, whatever it may be. And so I love how big this window is. And of course, all of these have some kind of capacity of opening. So if you want that, you know, that ventilation, that cross breeze, you can make that happen. As I mentioned, this does drop down into a bed for sleeping. Storage underneath both sides and easy access. You'll see you have the doors. They swing open just like that. You'll have that on both sides, so that way you can access things easier, especially if someone is sitting on the sofa. Electrical outlet back here if you need to plug anything in. Great spot to plug in cell phones while you're sitting there. And jackknife sofas, a lot of times you get storage underneath, but what they did here is they utilize this space for a lot of components. I'll show you. So when we lift this up, you can see you have ductwork in there, you have water heater in there, right? They use this space for all of that. And that's a good thing, because if they didn't, it's going to take up space generally in your kitchen. So they wanted to maximize your kitchen storage and put everything back here, which I think is smart. And you know, as we'll see when we get up front, there's still storage under the bed, so you still have plenty of storage for larger items. Big pantry, I love this too. You know, this is one of those things, you start to get to a little bit bigger RV, you have more room for food, whatever other items you need, and you can see here, plenty of space. Your fridge and freezer also gets larger. So, you know, as you start to move up, you can see everything just starts to get a little bit bigger, which makes sense. Norcold fridge freezer unit here, you know, great space in there, and if that's one of the things, you know, that are, again, really important to you, you know, maybe this is the one you want to move up to. And if you're capable of towing 5,000 pounds, you'll probably be a little tight, to be honest. But, you know, if you have like a half-ton pickup or a larger SUV, you know, if you have like a Tahoe, something like that, where it's on a pickup frame, then chances are you'll probably be able to tow something like this just fine. Now, you always, of course, I mean, don't just assume. You always want to make sure that, you know, it's capable of towing it. Make sure you take a look and see, you know, see what gear ratios you have or what engine choices there are. You know, with trucks and stuff, you want to see if it's two-wheel, four-wheel drive, because all that will play in to what you can tow. All that plays a factor. Now, as for the bathroom, couple things I love here. We've gone to porcelain bowls. Makes it super easy to clean. I love porcelain bowls for exactly that reason. It looks nicer for longer. As far as space, when the door is shut, you know, if I'm sitting right here, you'll notice there's a cutout. And, you know, I am, you know, kind of rubbing up against on both walls. But as you saw when I sat here, realistically, this is probably what I would do. And I am plenty comfortable. I have no issues with it at all. Underneath the sink, you have storage, good spot for some extra toilet paper, black tank chemicals, or you also have this cut out here. I do like the sink extension for any items you want in the bathroom, electrical outlet, mirrored medicine cabinet there right up top, and our tub shower, once again, just to show you. Look at that, folks, even without the skylight, right? We start getting into bigger RVs. Take a look at this. Without the skylight, I can still stand up in here, no problem. With that skylight, shoot, I bet you can be 6'3", maybe 6'4". I bet my good buddy Chris Young can stand in here, no problem at all, right? You don't have to duck down. He's a taller guy coming in at 6'2", no issues whatsoever. So I do like that extra height. A couple of shelves here in the corner as well, and then your hand wand. As we take a step out, we'll look toward the front, and what you will see right up there, of course, is the bed. And once again, you're getting into a fixed bed. You have the Serta mattress. And I talked about storage. We'll lift this up for you. Plenty of storage, folks. No issues there. We have, I don't know if you guys saw it. I have someone peeking in through the pass-through here. But you can see there's plenty of room. I mean, you know, Jace just crawled in there, no problem at all, right? If he wanted to lay in there, he could. Now, I'm going to lock that, and I have a key-alike system, so he's not going to be able to unlock it, right? Because I don't want anyone creeping underneath my bed. But you do get plenty of storage and lots of access points. Strut supported, so that way it is nice and simple to lift up as well. Windows on both sides. It's also worth mentioning, right, when we talk about windows, take a look at this. You'll see that they are framed out in wood, very residential styling. You know, we're starting to see more and more manufacturers kind of, you know, learn that people want their RVs to feel like a home. And so that's exactly what they've done here is they went with, you know, wood framing just like you would have in your house. For a TV, this is a pretty cool system. This mount right here, you will see the exact same thing outside the unit. And the reason being that there's a single bracket that mounts to your TV. What you can do is you can take this off and take that same TV outside, so you only have to have one TV. Otherwise, right, you have an extra TV and you don't have a place to store it when it's raining out or whatever else. This one you just bring in, lock into place, you're good to go. Connections for it are right there up top. We take a look at, you know, on the sides of the bed, nice big nightstands with actual tops on them so your hands aren't going to go through. It's not just a thin panel, anything like that. You have electrical outlets to plug anything in. Storage up top with some accent lighting, and this one also has the solar package on there. So you get the solar controller plus the panel up on the roof. So we take a step out, show you a couple things here. Well, we have the door locked open, but I do just want to show you the steps, right? This is the MORryde step above system. And what I want to show you is even though we are on a sidewalk right here, we were still able to drop the steps down. I mean, the feet are bottomed out, they're adjustable, but that allows me to, you know, if I'm pulling up, you know, if you have like an HOA, something like that, you need to pull up to the side of the road, you can still come up, load up, and you're good to go. Also, aluminum treads, which aren't gonna rust, absolutely fantastic. And as we said, because it is the 8, you go to the double axle right here. This one is the Baja, so it's lifted up a little bit higher, right? You get more ground clearance on that Baja, so you can go to some of those tougher places. You don't have to necessarily go on a paved road. And once again, right there is what I was talking about that we saw in the bedroom. That is that TV mount, so you can drop the TV right here underneath that lit power awning with those Solaris speakers. Now remember, folks, as I say, as we go through the Jayco Jay Flight line, just so you know, the Jay Flight line has been the #1 selling travel trailer line for the last 15 years, and for good reason. There's a ton here. If you're loving what you see, maybe you haven't found the floor plan, but you love the construction, you love the amenities, you're going to want to text the word FRESH to 46642 to get your hands on one of the factory fresh units we have coming, over 80,000 pieces of inventory.